Hello and welcome back to FT Business School. Whether it's in heavy industry, the media or even education, digital technologies are transforming the way we all work. For many, this new digital economy is an energising force driving innovation and creating wealth. But for others, it brings with it the real fear of unpredictable change. David Schmittlein is Dean of the Sloan School, the management school of MIT, a university famous for its innovation in cutting-edge technologies. Professor Schmittlein, the Sloan School's been really heavily involved in this, hasn't it? When you talk to managers and companies, what do you hear? Is it fear or is it enthusiasm?
So, of course it's both, but you know, sometimes it's both even in the same conversation. I was with one of the leaders of the financial industry here in London just yesterday, and the concern about the way that digital economies, the way that information technology change is leading some firms to fall behind, to be at risk with respect to their business models, is palpable. The desire not to see what other firms are doing, to be at the leading edge, is very real. But there's also an opportunity here for firms to lead in ways that matter now, that didn't matter before. So if you are perceived as a leader in digital technologies and digital economy, it actually helps you in a variety of ways to attract the brightest minds, the best young people to your organization. And so it's a very slippery slope that runs in both directions, if you will. So the opportunities are great, but it's perceived that the risks are also very great.
So when you see people who are worried about this, what is it they're worried about? Is it the technology and the implementation of technology, or is it just the changes that are happening?
So for businesses, part of the interest is in opportunity and the way that new products and services are easier to design. They become outmoded more quickly. There are efficiencies in operations and global supply and so on that are coming very quickly now. And so to fall behind in those respects is a concern, but to lead is also just a wonderful opportunity. That's for businesses. For individuals and for policymakers in some respects, there are of course concerns. There are concerns about a winner-take-all economy where the few businesses that do lead in digital respects tend to gain market share very quickly and perhaps become monopolies. And at the individual level, if you have the skills to do well in this kind of rapid change, the opportunities are very great. But if your skill set becomes outmoded, you know that there are concerns about the workforce, about unemployment and so on. It may be easier to start companies than it ever was, but that may not be an opportunity that is equally available to everyone. And so there are concerns at the policy level. You know that.
Yeah. So I mean, you're the Dean of a business school. I mean, yes. Business schools have been, I think, possibly very slow to move into this and adapt to this. Yeah. And there's two issues here, aren't there? There's the curriculum, what you actually teach, which is really important for students going into these new companies. And there's the way you use technology yourself. I mean, yes. Do you think business schools have been at the forefront in this or not?
With respect to the ideas underlying opportunities in a digital economy, I think that business schools have done quite well. I would call out MIT in this regard. I hope you'll forgive me for that. But certainly the ways that technological innovation is different now than it was 10 years or 20 years ago, and the way that represents the potential for opportunity for individual managers or leaders is something that's been very much a focus of MIT Sloan School, but of other leading schools as well. And so not just through entrepreneurship, but the ways that products and services are being transformed through hybrid innovations that have kind of a physical component but also a software component. What does strategic management and innovation look like in those kinds of products or those kinds of industries? I think business schools have been very thoughtful about that. But the other part of your question is also a little bit of an indictment perhaps of schools of business and universities more broadly. We have been slow in some cases to adopt technology or to think about creative uses of digital technologies in the way we develop management education or deliver that education. I think we're adapting, but we are doing some experiments. I'm proud of those experiments, but it's early days, and the world is changing.
Right. So if you were to give business schools a grade
Yeah.
on their adoption of technology, what would it be?
In adoption of technology, a C minus.
A C minus,
I would
okay.
say, yes.
What about it on the curriculum?
I honestly think at MIT it's very hard to get an A. So let me say a B plus.
Professor Schmittlein, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
For more on this and other business school news and analysis, go to ft.com/business education.